All right, so we're going to talk about sentence types. Don't worry, we're not talking about sentence patterns, just types. And there are six main types of sentences in kind of standard American English. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at these. So the first sentence type is a declarative sentence, which is what it sounds. In a declarative sentence, you make a pretty clear statement. A lot of our sentences fall into this particular category. And let me give you an example sentence. I might say, after 6 p.m., the store closes, right? Statement, simple, direct. That is a declarative sentence. An exclamative sentence indicates heightened emotion. Okay. It often ends in an exclamation point. Okay. I probably should have said this up here, but a declarative sentence often ends in a period. Okay. So worth kind of thinking about the relevance of punctuation. So let me give you a couple of different examples. I couldn't believe it. Exclamation point, right? And I'd say like, I couldn't believe it, right? It might show surprise or worry. I might also say something like, they're insane. Right? They're insane. It might be like anger, right? But it's gonna show some type usually of heightened emotion. The next common sentence type that we have is an imperative sentence. And I'm sure you guys have heard these before. Imperatives are usually commands, and there is usually an implied subject rather than a subject stated outright. So whoever is being spoken to is usually the implied subject. And here's an example. Listen to me carefully. Okay. Um, I'm talking to you. You are my implied subject. I'm telling you, listen to me carefully. As a result, it's an imperative. It's a command. I don't have to say, you listen to me carefully. I can just say, listen to me carefully. And so for that reason, there's an implied subject. It often ends in an exclamation point, but not always. It can end in a period. Most important thing is that you have a finite verb, but it's a finite verb that has an implied subject rather than a stated subject. Okay. The next type of sentence is the WH question. So these are actually open-ended questions would be another way of talking about them, meaning that there could be a variety of different answers. And let me go ahead and give you a couple of examples. I could say, why did she say that? Right? I have no idea what you're going to answer. So that makes it an open-ended question. I might ask something like, where are they going? Right? And maybe there's a specific answer, but very likely you're still going to tell me more about the place. So WH questions are another common type of sentence. Of course, they end in a question mark, which will be true of the other two types of sentences that we'll be talking about, which are the yes, no question and the tag question. So I'll just go ahead and right now ends in question mark, right? And ends in question mark. So the yes, no question is a closed um question. And what that means is that there's one clear answer. The person asking is not looking for conversation. So let me give you a few examples. I could say, are you going to the movies? Okay. Likely you're going to say yes or no. I could also say, what color is, and I misspelled color, there we go, is his hair? And you might say something like brown. There's going to be a specific question. And so that, or sorry, a specific answer. And so that's part of what makes it a yes or a no question. Tag questions are the last type of question that you will have. And these are a declarative sentence plus a comma, right? Plus an addition, and the addition is what turns it into a tag question. So let's look at a couple of examples. She told you I was coming, right? That is a declarative, that is a statement. But I could add a comma and say right and end it in a question mark, and suddenly it becomes a question, right? She told you I was coming, right? Something else I could say is those cats terrified them, didn't they? Right? So once again, those cats terrified them. That could be a declarative, that's a statement. By adding the comma and adding didn't they, I'm making it a question. So these are the 6 common types of sentences that we have in English. And the most kind of frequent ones that you'll end up seeing and what we're looking at are going to be WH questions and declaratives. So hope this helps, or at least gives you an interesting way of thinking about types of sentences.